we will be starting shortly. I would love us to drop our names and where we're joining in from. I see Sinola. Good morning. Good morning, David. You're welcome to today's masterclass. Good morning, Justice. So while we await others to join in, I'd love you to just drop your name and where you're joining in from in the chat. All right, welcome, Justice. I see you're joining from Lagos. Welcome. Please, we would love to get everyone interactive in this session. It's not going to be, a one-way session. We want everyone giving their bits. It's going to be a very interactive session, so do well to engage. I'm waiting for others to, share where they're joining in from whilst we wait for more persons to join the call. Bello, you're welcome. Good morning. All right. Hello, Cynthia. We see you're joining in from Delta. You're welcome. I see a number of persons have not responded yet. I'm seeing David Upson. David, would love to hear where you're joining in from. Just type it in the chat. Welcome, Ismaila. I hope I got that right. Please let us know where you're joining in from. Welcome. Oriaku Messi. I see you. You're welcome. Let's know where you're joining in from. We'll start shortly. Trust me, we're not going to have no much activities. It's straight into the session. So we'd like to have a few more persons join this call and we'll jump right into it. Isaac Chukuma, I see you've joined. Good morning. You're welcome. Please let us know where you're joining in from. Just drop a chat. Good morning, Adedoyin. Yeah, from Lagos. All right. Hello, Miriam. Welcome. You're joining in from Enugu. Good morning, Mercy from Lagos. You're all welcome. All right. What do you think, Jamie? Are you good to go? Uh, all right. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting masterclass. Isaac, I see you. You're welcome. And today's masterclass, like we all know, is going to be on Excel pivot tables. And we have an amazing instructor with us who is going to take you on this session today. And like I mentioned before, some persons joined in, this session is recorded for reference purposes, and we will share the recording with you after the session, right? Okay, so just to give you an overview of CAMANDA, we're CAMANDA Academy, and we're very passionate about equipping individuals, right, with skills, in-demand skills that are needed to excel in today's marketplace. And our masterclasses are usually free sessions, yeah, and we use them to just impact knowledge and get everyone having valuable learning, very accessible to them. So today's session is particularly for professionals, working professionals, entrepreneurs, or anyone that is really interested. You you interface with Excel on a daily basis. You're very welcome to this session. Esther, I see you that you joined, and you're welcome. Muyiwa, you're welcome. All right. So very quickly before we join in, I would like to introduce our instructor to us. He's a very powerful guy. Our instructor today is going to be no one but Jamu Arewa. So Jamu is currently the senior data analyst with CAMANDA Technologies, and he's not just an analyst, he's a BI specialist and a technical trainer. Yes. So Jamu is a result-oriented data analyst with a Bachelor of Technology in Physics. And he has a proven track record, I can assure you of that, a proven track record of driving revenue growth through data-driven insights. Yeah, he's proficient in end-to-end data lifecycle, from automated collection and cleaning to advanced visualization and reporting. His expertise includes building flexible CRM solutions, managing complex data flows across Microsoft Fabric and Google BigQuery. At this point, I expect that the hands will be like flowing, right? And empowering others through technical mentorship. He is a distinguished member of the Nigerian Association of Data Analysts and Business Intelligence Experts. He is very, I assure you, very passionate about impacting practical knowledge to young graduates and professionals. I have interfaced with Jamu for a short while, and I've seen the number of NYSC graduates that Jamu has trained, and they are actually analysts. I know a few of them who are even working closely with me right now. So, guys, you have an expert in the house. So, without further ado, I'd like us with a round of applause as we welcome Jamu, and he will take over. Jamu, over to you, please. You're very much welcome. We are glad to have you on this session. I will stop sharing my screen now. Over to you, Jamie, please.
Thank you very much, Jenny, for the citation and all. Uh, yeah, the introduction has been done well enough already, but uh, just for a courtesy, my name is Jamil Arewa. So I'll be your instructor for this morning and welcome everyone to this session. So before I move further, I'm going to share my screen. Uh, Jenny already said it earlier that it's going to be straight to business, which is what is actually going to be happening. Now, we are here to see what Excel pivot table is. So, I don't want to start asking how many people are very familiar with Excel or pivot table, and because it wouldn't really matter. So because we are all going to be seeing what pivot table can do for us together. So, but first, what are pivot tables, right? Pivot tables, or a pivot table, is a powerful interactive data summarization tool, right? It is used to summarize your data from very large uh, look to smaller one in spreadsheet softwares like Excel or Google Sheets. So it automatically sorts, counts, sums, or averages your large data sets. And it allows users to rearrange and analyze data by dragging fields, making it easy to create reports and identify trends without writing formula, right? So now, these are the few things that Excel pivot table can do for us here. So they are powerful data analysis tool. They enable us to easily summarize and analyze data sets. Like I said earlier, they allow you to rearrange and manipulate your data. All this provide a dynamic way to extract valuable insights. What are the benefits of pivot table? First, it makes data analysis easier. When we get to the hands-on, we will definitely know what I'm talking about when it comes to his that pivot table offers. So it creates interactive reports, it gives efficient summarization, and it is user-friendly data exploration in nature. So the fundamentals of pivot table. When you are working with pivot table, these are the parts that you are going to be, looking out all the time. These are the crucial parts of it. That's why it is called the four crucial area. And you have your rows pane, you have value pane, and you have filter pane, and then you have column pane. This is where your magic starts. After you drag your required columns into them as necessary, and then you can start
Hey,
every
wait,
other things.
Daniel, sorry to cut you
Yeah.
short. Please, could you zoom in? Could you zoom in? I don't know if it's just myself or I'd love everyone to be able to see the presentation. Kindly zoom in.
Is it
Yeah.
fine now?
Yes, it's fine for me. Please, someone else confirm that you guys are fine with this. You know.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So these are the areas where you are going to be interacting with mostly when you are working with pivot table. And here are their functions. So the components serve as the cornerstone orchestrating the organization of your data. They also determine the metrics under scrutiny. That is, whatever metrics you are working with, your numerical value come here, your categorical value come here. This also has your categorical value, and then this has your whatever columns you want to use as a filter to your pivot table. Now, these are the step-by-step way, of creating pivot table. Number one, you have your data. I'm very sure we are all familiar with this view of Excel. You have your data this way, your columns are there, and then it also contains its rows. Jenny, sorry. All right. Uh, so let me see if Jenny has something for me in DM. Okay. So where this is how your view in Excel usually look. So this is the first step. the first step is to click on anywhere on your table or your range, because there's a little difference between a table and a range in Excel. This one you are looking at right now is just a table. I mean, it's just a range containing different data. So I'm going to, let you know. I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of that, the demonstration of a range and a table. And then the step 2 is to head to the insert tab. While you are clicking on somewhere on your table right there, you click on the insert tab, and then right at the left upper corner, you see this. If you are using a big screen or a small font size, you will definitely just see pivot table directly. But if you are using a smaller screen, or maybe your font size is very large, you will probably first see tables and then click on the drop down, and then you have pivot table as one of the options under that. And then next, when you click on pivot table, Excel is going to automatically recognize the range of your data. And then when you do that, it is going to indicate that range that your data belongs to. Yeah, and then you will be asked to choose either you want to put your pivot table in a new sheet or an existing one, which is actually your choice depending on what you like to do. And then so you can just, at best, you just put it on a new worksheet, which is cool, a fresh sheet to work with. And then you click OK. And then when you click on OK, you see your pivot table appear. And then you can already, this screen or has products in the rows. And that's why you are seeing product A, B, and C. So before I go further, I'll like to just demonstrate hands-on what we are talking about. This is just a visual demonstration. Why not we just get into Excel instead? Now, I was talking about a range, the difference between a table and a range, right? So, for example, you may have a data, maybe products here, sales, uh, costs, and then profits, right? So maybe you have product A, product B, product C, and then you have sales to be 20, 14, 25, and then you have costs to be 15, 10, and then 20. And then you have your profits to be equal to sales minus. This is just a little demonstration to at least fill this up to let you know what I'm talking about. So now this is a range right here, right? It just contains data, but even though they are standing beside each other and on top of each other, Excel is not seeing them as a single unit of objects. So there are some little functions, should I even call it little? There are some functions that will be easier when you are working with a table. So for example, this is just a range here. If I click on Control T, and then it says create table here, which you have my table as a header, yes, and then it will automatically consider the first row as the header. Just click on OK, And now you see that it is formatted the same way this one is. Now Excel will see this entire thing now as a single object that are interconnected with each other. And as you work with your functions, Excel is going to, be able to reference what you have in each of these cells as part of a whole. Now, that's just to explain a range and a table. That's not where we are coming from. Now, for the pivot table, you have this kind of data. For example, you are a supervisor. You are not the one in charge of inputting data, right? This is a data cell for a beverage company. By the way, it's random. It's not a data from any company particularly. You are a supervisor, but then you have maybe a subordinate, maybe your secretary or a data entry clerk that is in charge of entering all this data. Whenever a sales is made, the person will have to come down here and input the value for that. Then, as the supervisor, you have to report the data to your manager. You can't present this to your manager. It doesn't really make sense. You can't really make any information out of this. And that is where, for example, let me open another. Okay, let me just do it here. I'm going to remove this. So, for example, you want to report this data based on country, and then you are a smart person, you have been working with data for a while, and then your formulas, and then your table and your drop down. This is a country, you drop this down, and then you are able to view your countries. And now you want to get the revenue, the total revenue for each of these countries. As a smart guy, you come here and you say, maybe country, and then sales, let's put expenses here. And then you list your countries: France, Germany. What I'm doing now is if you don't know the problem, you will not know the value of the solution. So that's what most people do. If you are not aware of what pivot table can do, you will just be doing manual work every single day. And as an officer that you are, a supervisor, you have other things, other administrative things to do. So, but this is going to be taking a lot of your time every single day. Germany, and then I think I saw Italy, Spain, and then USA. Let's confirm that again. France, Germany, Italy, Spain, USA. Okay. Now you want to know the sales. You enter your formula, and you say sum if. This is the one that allows you to go through each value in the country column, pick them one after the other, and then sum or do whatever you want with all this according to which of the values under the country that you are interested in. It's a conditional column, by the way. Conditional function. Sum if, then you see all these parameters here that says range, criteria, and then so let me just quickly go through all those, because yeah, those are the problems I want to show, but not the solution. But I'm not saying it's not important. It is very important, because like I said earlier, you need to know the problem before you can appreciate the solution. Now, the range means, the range here is the country. and then comma. Now, let me just edit it in the formula bar here. It's easier that way. Now, the next thing is criteria. What is the criteria now? The criteria is France. France, I'm just going to uh, type that. France, it means out of country column, I'm interested in only France. And then what do I want to do? Sum range. It means since I said sum here, then what column do I want to sum on behalf of this country that I mentioned here? This one is sales, which is the revenue. I'm going to do that. So if I click on enter, it is going to give me, what I want. And again, okay, now again, you want to be entering all these one after the other. Maybe, as a sharp guy as well, you know that you don't want to be typing all this every time. So you copy this, copy, knowing that the only difference there is just the country names. So then you put it here, and then you come here, change it to Germany. Then you have the value of Germany. So it is a little bit painstaking, but of course, that's how you know what you are doing. Italy, and then paste it again for France, for Spain. Now imagine if it is a very big company that is so global that you have a lot of countries, and then you have to be doing this one after the other. And now you have done this for just the sales, and then you have to repeat everything all over again for expenses. And this is not even, the digits are too much. You need to put comma in order to separate them into thousands and millions before you'll be able to read it well. So let's assume we are working with Naira. We don't have this decimal. In Naira, our currency is rounded. So you want to remove this. And then you are repeating everything all over again. That is where the thing about Excel pivot table, that's where the sweetness coming. Remember I mentioned few times that Excel is very good for summarization. Instead of doing all this all the time, you can as well just click on now for the step one from our slide, you click anywhere on your table, and then you go to insert, and then you see pivot table here. Click on it, and then it has recognized the name of your table, table one, and then okay, I'm just going to put it on a new worksheet. Say okay, sorry, on a new worksheet. So I'm just going to click okay. It will automatically open this new sheet for me, and then this is your pivot table here. It is very much empty. Now this same thing that I did here, because of time, I didn't want to be repeating it for expense. You can easily just come and drag your country to rows, and then your revenue to value. Row and columns are for categorical data. And then these values here, you can see this epsilon sign, meaning that it is for your numerical data, right? And by default, when you put your numerical column there, it will sum it up, but you can always change that, but we'll get back to that later. Now, this is your revenue, and then your expenses. Drag it below the revenue in the same value space. And here you have it. I didn't have to be typing formula. I didn't have to be putting comma separator on my own, and everything is fine on its own. Now, here is another interesting thing about pivot table. I'm going to copy this one here, or maybe just cut it. So this is our ordinary table here, and this is our pivot. We are going to be doing some few comparison. Now, let's say the business gets expanded, right? It gets expanded, and now we have expanded to a new country. So let me just say we have a new country, maybe Japan, and now we have, you can see that the table has gotten extended to a new row being added. And then we have maybe revenue of 40,000, and then costs of maybe 25,000. And then there's another country again that we have gotten into, which is, let's put China. Now, you know, like I said earlier, you are the supervisor, you are not the one in charge of the data. So, and then you get to work the following day, knowing fully well that, okay, the company has extended to 2 new countries. You know that this repetition, I mean, this thing that you did here, you are going to come here again and be manually typing China, Japan, do the formula for this, do the formula for that. Isn't that going to be a head? Zoom is not even a country level data. It is street. Now our expansion, say it captures a new country with several locations that we have our branches in that country. Maybe like 200 location for a start in a single country, and you have to be coming here all the time to do that. Whereas you as a supervisor, you have other things to do. Now that the 2 countries have been added here, all you have to do is come to data and refresh. And as you can see, Japan and China are here with their respective data. And this, nothing. That's one thing to know, one of the things to know about it. Automates your work for you, and also, and if I come back here and say, okay, these 2 countries we have shut down there, we are not really seeing the value for our services there, and then I delete them from the table, I come here, I refresh again, and they will be gone. Right? So I'm going to give you some features. This is just us creating pivot table, right? But there are so many things that pivot table can help you do to make your life easier. Like my boss always say, if you have something that will make your life easier, just why not? Why do you have to be suffering yourself? So first that I'm going to show you is, let's assume that since we are having most of our this thing in Spain, let's just assume that Spain is the headquarter. So now let's just say there's a particular way you want your data to be arranged, right? So instead of normally you can just drag. I believe you should be able to. Okay. For a pivot table, you should be able to drag to rearrange. Okay, well, it looks like it's no longer a function, maybe because of a new update. Okay, now You want to, because if I do this now and sort A to Z, the ha, it doesn't seem to be okay. Yeah, I think the effect is still on it while I was sorry, there's something I need to check on. Oh, okay. Let's delete that first. I think it's already active on it. So, okay. Now, this is me sorting from A to Z alphabetical order, but then I don't want it sorted this way, right? I really want it to be sorted. I want our headquarter to be first and then followed by maybe something, I mean, another country that maybe is a little closer. We use it almost similar to the headquarter. Let's say the Spain is the headquarter. It's we want it to always come first, and then we want to put others, Germany and USA. We want it to be in this order, and then France.
So, hi,
France.
Jamil. Yes,
Yes.
sorry to cut you short. So, someone says her screen isn't quite clear. Maybe you can zoom in the sheet so that the numbers are a bit bold. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So now for France, uh, Italy. This is how I want my table to be, to be sorted. I can easily just click on it, come to pivot, analyze here, and then from there you can come here to option. Sorry, come to file, not pivot, analyze, then options, then go to advanced. Uh, all these things that we are doing here, they are advanced functions of Excel and pivot table. But so, and this is assuming that these are, existing Excel users. This is you upgrading your skill. And then under advanced, you see general there. In the general, you see edit custom list. So inside here, you can input them, the countries, the way you want them to arrange, and then separate them by comma, or you can just select all of them this way and import. Click on import. You see it has appeared as a part of this custom list, and you see them here appearing the way they are here. And then you after the importing, you click on OK, and then OK. And now when I come here to sort, so sort from A to Z, you see that it is conforming to the way this is. Even if I remove country from rows, since I'm still working with the same pivot table, I put it back, you'll see that it will still be arranged exactly that way. Now, another thing, let's remove expenses. Let's say you want to know, now you know the prices that came from each country, and you want to know the percentage. And so this is the total of all the revenues from all of these countries. You want to know the percentage of all of these from the total. Now, you may want to say percentage normally is just that you are dividing this by the total, and then you are going to get it, and you can come here to turn it to percentage, which is nice. But you want it to apply to the rest, and then you are based on relative referencing problem. You are going to be having this division error. You are seeing that you are dividing by zero, which is an infinite loop, which is not very well going to work. This one means that at this, when you are doing this, you are dividing this with this, but then when you come down, you want to apply it to the following one, then it will try to divide this with this, which is empty. Now you'll be having division error. So instead of that, you can just add the same revenue is what you want to use as a percentage. You can drag it again to value, and then right click anywhere on it, show value as percentage of grand total. And here, you don't have to format it afterwards. You don't have to input any formula. And then there you are. Now, there's another thing, this is just a data. Let's assume that you have a long one, a long list of countries, and then all these um all these one that you are seeing here, all these numbers, they will not really make a lot of sense. The owner of the company, those people are always very busy, from meetings to conference to this and all of that, and a lot of employees dragging them up and down. They usually prefer you to just make everything easy for them. At a glance, they just look at it and they get the idea. So instead of giving them a long number, you can just use your conditional formatting. Now, instead of all this, I can come to conditional formatting here and use maybe a data bar. Let me choose this one, right? And then I'll click here for it to apply to the rest. All cells showing sum of revenue, two values for country. Click on it, and everything will be highlighted. Now, by just looking at it, see the data bar, you can easily, or maybe the number is distracting, you can come here while you are still on that column. You are come here to say manage rules, and then you want to edit rules and say show bar only. Click on OK and OK. Now, just by looking at this, you can easily know, oh, this one is the largest, this one is the smallest, right? Maybe you want to put it side by side with the country. You don't want to be looking around. You can come here and drag it before the first one, and here they will be side by side. Now, another thing is this one that is having the highest, the lowest, and the one that is having the highest. You just want to quickly view their data. You can come here as a sharp guy and say, okay, I want to know, okay, since which one of them? France is lowest. I want to see what is going on. You can come here and just unselect everything, select only France and say okay, which is going to give you all of this, which is fine. But since we are working with pivot table, we don't want to come out of it. You can easily just double click on its value here, and it is called drill down. So it is going to drill down to the data that makes up France. Details for sum of revenue and country is France. And you can as well do that for every others. So the highest one, double click, it is going to give you for Spain. Now, I'm going to delete this one so I don't need them. So what if the manager of this France country that is having very low decide that he wants to have a little chat with you know someone, the manager that is making the highest revenue. Now let me just copy this pivot table so that I can make use of it here. Now I'm going to remove the data label. I don't need it. So I want to see managers, manager with most and least revenue. Now, maybe the manager of France want to really have a talk with someone, with the manager that is making most of the revenue. And how do you do that? That is very simple. It's one of the things we do daily as basic Excel users. So you can easily just um, sort sort it in from largest to smallest, which is going to give you the manager with the highest. Now you want to send this list to the manager of France, but you don't want it to also include all these ones that are making relatively low sales, right? So you can just filter it. Uh, you can filter. Let's say, okay, this is it here. It's supposed to be here. Drop down. So value filter. So you can go to top 10. Yes. Top 10. Instead of giving them everything, you can, instead of 10 here, you can just decide to give him top 5 because they are the top 5 performance by sum of revenue, which is also fine. Click OK. So you can send this list to whoever the manager of France is. So maybe you can contact them and take some little advice from them. So now, the one that is actually my favorite is called Slicer. You can use Slicer to easily just go through go and, you know, extract data, specific data from your pivot table. Now, while you are on your pivot table, you can go to pivot analyze. You see Slicer here. So you can click on it. Now it's going to give you all the fields that you have in your table. You can select which one of it you want to, use as your filter. Now I want to use products. I'm going to select products. So, and this is it here. Now let me remove the filter from this. Now here, if I click on Coca-Cola, it is going to give me, it is going to give me the managers or whatever it is on my pivot table. It is going to give me the data that corresponds to Coca-Cola sales. Same thing here and here and here and here. But there are two types of filters in Excel, right? Let me unmark this. So clear it here. So I can come back, click on my pivot again, come back here. You can see that we have timeline, right? This one, let me just click on it. So because date is the only thing that makes sense when we are talking about timeline, right? So it is only going to detect your dates column. And then when you click on it, it's going to give you this. Now, say you may not see the problem that this one solves now because I didn't do that first. Now, maybe here now, you want to know your sales maybe per month or per year or whatever, and then you put your dates here, right? So if you look at it, under normal condition, it is going to, Excel is going to break your dates into hierarchy, which is fine. But then it will be too much for you to be just be clicking and clacking and everything, whatever it is you want to look for. Instead of this, you have a lot of data points to look at, a lot of clicking to do before you drill down to what you actually want. Instead of this, you can actually use timeline, right? So you can, here you can change exactly what you want to see. This one is telling me that I'm in the year 2022, right? If I click on January 2022, this is what it is going to give me. This is everything from January 2022, and then February, and then March. You can click here to, it is saying months, right? You can click to select only the year, and you have every sales made in 2022 in each quarter, right? You have every sales made in 2023, 2024, 2026, and so on and so forth. So now we want to know, the next one is that maybe you are curious, you want to know this revenue, what age group is patronizing us the most. Now we want to do custom column, right? Want to do custom column. We can custom, custom grouping, sorry. You can custom group your numerical data. You can also custom group your text data. Now, let me remove this. Remove everything one after the other. Now, this is age. I want to know, based on age, how is our revenue performance? So maybe I should just remove this. Based on age, how is our revenue performance? So now there's something called bin or bucket. If you have done statistics very well, maybe in secondary school or further in the higher institution, when you want to perform a distribution using histogram, you have to, be categorizing your data into bin. For example, age 20, age 20, 20 to 29, and then you come here, you want to be doing all this manually. Nah, not when I have my pivot table by my side. So now I will just click on this and right click the group. So it's going to bring this dialog box here where it is telling me that the minimum number here on this is 22. So it is going to bin it into the minimum, starting from minimum and ending at the maximum in the list. And then what is the range of that bin? 10, 10. So let me make it start from 20. So in this case, it's going to be from 20 to 29, 30 to 39, whatever and whatever, which you were supposed to be typing manually originally. So now if I do this, you can see that the age group between 20 to 29 is having most of the revenue. But then again, that you are having most of your revenue from this age group doesn't mean you have most people patronizing you coming from this age group. And you can confirm that by doing an average. So the same revenue, drag it here, and then click on this drop down here, value field setting, and change it from sum to average here. So you can see that despite that you are having most revenue coming from this age group, your average is coming. That means maybe this money is coming from just few people here. But even though this one is looking like maybe 1/3 of these, there's a lot of people, you know, coming. I mean, patronizing you from under. You know how average or mean in mathematics, we know if you know how it works, your sum of all of this divided by, sum of all of this divided by the total number of the participants. So and then we are almost done. You can also group your product, which is, I told you that you can group your numerical data, you can also group your text data, right? So now I'm going to remove this and put products. Remove this as well. Now, you want to categorize these to soda and non-soda. You know that Coca-Cola is a soda, Diet Coke is a soda, Fanta is a soda. Just hold down your control and select all of the three of them highlighted like that. And then right click the same way, group. And then you see that it has grouped the three of them under group one, but the ones that I didn't select, it grouped them separately according to their name. So you can rename this group as maybe soda, and then you can select these two as well, group them again. So they are now in group two. You can name them non-soda. Now you can collapse them to get the actual higher level of summary from that. So I think the last one that I have to show is report filter page. Now, let me remove all this, put actual product there, right? Now you want to know which manager is involved in the sales of, all these products that we have here. You want to put manager in filters, and then you see it appear here on the top. Now you can easily just come here, click on one of the manager and say, okay. And then Bill is only involved in Coca-Cola sales. And then you can, do for any of them and you see what they are involved in and so on. So like that. Now, what if you want to send data to each manager and you don't want them to see the data of other managers? Now, let me click on all. You don't want them to see the data of other managers. You can easily just filter. A way that you can do it is you can click on the manager here, filter it, and then send that manager his or her own data by, do this, copy it, paste it in a new sheet, send it to, or you can do it the easier way, right? So instead of this, you are going to, since you are still on this, you should go to pivot, analyze the options here, drop it down, and then you see show report filter pages. But note, in order to use this function, you must have a column in your filter. If I remove it now, and then you can see that I can no longer use it. So I'll have to put my manager back into the filters pane and then drop it. Now I see that, and if I click on it, you can see the manager is the one in filter pane. So it is already there populated. Click on OK. And then you can see my data split into different sheets according to each manager and their own separate data. So instead of having to be creating all these sheets manually on your own and be naming them to match the name of the managers, and now you can see how much they are. You can just use that feature, and just with one click, you will get the job done. And then the last but not the least, well, this is too much. Let me delete them. Sorry. I don't really function well with messy data. So I'm going to want to, sorry, I wanted to click on delete. Aha. So pivot table, there's actually a formula or a function that you can use to get, instead of the initial one that I was doing. Yeah, where is it? Where did I put it? Instead of this, getting your data one after the other by a single formula, copying and pasting, you can easily just use the formula, the function group by. This is group by here. And it says row field. That is, which row do you want to group your data by? It is country. I'll just select the whole of that. And then let's do that here, comma, and then values, which is your numerical data, the revenue. Then come here and comma, and then what operation do you want to perform, which is the function. What operation do you want to perform on this numerical column that you just selected? You can change it to sum. I mean, you can input sum and close the parentheses, and then it's going to give you exactly how we have it in our pivot table. And if it is the percentage that you want, you can come here to turn this to your percentage of. So click on enter, and then you can change it to give you the percentage sign. So these are the few things that you can do with your pivot table. So, and this is where I'm going to stop for now for questions that anyone may have. Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Jamil. Thank you so much for that insightful session. I think at this point would love to take your questions. Love to take your questions. Mr. Jamil, please be on standby and still leave your screen on just in case the question that comes requires, a practical illustration. So if you have your questions, this is the time. Raise your hands. By show of hands, we would call you up one after the other, and Mr. Jami would answer your questions. Anyone? All right, Mr. Yusuf, go ahead, please. Mr. Yusuf, yeah, go
Hello,
ahead with
good
your
afternoon.
question. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Yusuf.
Yeah, please, Mr. Jami, please, can you repeat the process of this group buy? Because I missed somewhere, so I don't.
You mean this one right here? The one I did last?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this function group by, it mimics the creation of pivot table with the use of formula. So now what you are going to do is equal to group by, and then it's going to ask you for row field. These are the primary parameters that you need for that: the row field, the value, and the function. The row field means the rows that, or the, let me just call it column Now, because field means column, it means row field means the field, the column that contains the row that you want to group your data by, right? Which is the country. Just select it and control shift down for it to pick everything in that column, right? And then you have selected your first requirement here, and then comma. And then the next one is values. Values is, the numerical data that you want to perform operation on. Maybe your sum, your percentage, or whatever it is, which is in our case is revenue, or it can be expense, depends on whatever it is you want to see. So Control Shift down to select everything, and then you can comma, and then what operation do you want to perform on that revenue? These are the available operations. And in my case, I use sum and percentage. I can as well just use average too. So which is this. So if I select that and enter, it is going to give me the average. And then I can go ahead reducing the number of decimal. I hope you got that, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Correct.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Any other questions? Any other person? This is your time to probe Mr. Jamil and get clarity. We are waiting. Mercy, do you have a question? Ologe, any question from you? Justice, this is me calling you guys out, forgive me. Adobe, any question from your end? If you don't have any question, you can just quickly react. Okay. Right, I'm seeing the reactions are coming in. All right. In the absence of any questions, Mr. Jam, you just 2 minutes, a quick recap of everything, and we will wrap it up there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Why am I having
Why am I having
echo?
echo?
Please mute yourself, Jenny, or
Please
whoever
mute
it is
yourself,
that
Jenny, or
is.
whoever that is.
Sorry, what did you say, Mr. Jami?
I said I'm
I
having
said I'm
echo.
having echo.
Oh,
Aha, thank you. Now, in this session, we were able to treat how, pivot table and all the magic and the things that we can use it for to make our life easy, to make our work easy, and to automate them. Now, the first thing was that we did some custom sorts, custom sorts, which allows us to sort our pivot table the way we want. You know, I believe I've gotten that off. So instead of having them by default in this way, you can sort them according, use the cat, okay, using this. So again, we treated percentage of total, percentage of total. So we treated, use of data bar to visualize your data. We also use the double click drill down, double click drill down. And then we also looked at, sorting and filtering. Sorting and filtering. which allowed us to sort our data in descending order and then filtered for top 5 in order to see those with most revenue. And then we touched slicer and timeline, and then we also touched custom grouping. Let's say this my custom with the up here, get K-leg. So, but since we got the idea, wow, custom grouping, and then I remember we touched report filter page, which allows you to separate your your categorical data or your role, your grouped role into separate sheets. So those are the things that we touched today. And then we use the group by function to summarize our data into rows and their summary that mimics pivot table. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's quickly appreciate Mr. Jami once again. If you permit me, Mr. Jami, I would like to quickly share my screen. All right, we are wrapping up in a few minutes. We'll be out of here before 12:30. This is a quick confirmation. Can you see my screen? Yes. So I want to quickly advertise, or let me know use the advertise before you come for me. I want to quickly, show you something much bigger. I mean, this masterclass is like a teaser, a tip of the iceberg, right? You can participate and be part of something much more valuable than just the masterclass. We just literally stayed here for about an hour plus. And so Kamanda Academy has intensive trainings for professionals, for young graduates, but particularly for professionals, right? Working professionals. And as you can see on my screen, I just showed us our hot speed courses. We have data analytics for professionals, we have AI engineering, we have UI UX design, we have web development, we have power platform courses, and all these courses are very affordable from 50,000 and above, and you get to have flexible payments. You can pay by installment. So this is what works for Nigerians today with the economic situation. So I assure you that when you get to visit our website, which is www.camanda.academy, you will see all the rays of courses right there, and you can make your pick and position yourself for the future of work, right? Excel with pivot table, yes, is just one part of a very big, wide data analytics course that you will cover. That's if by chance you decide to go for data analysis or professionals course. All right, right on my screen, you'll see our number. I don't know, Cynthia, if you are there, please kindly drop it in the chat so that they can pick it up. You would also see our website, and someone will drop it for you in the chat as well. And before we wrap up, I would love you to just indicate if you're interested. You just type in the chat, I am interested. We'll pick up your email and send you more details after this session. I am waiting for you to do that right now. All right, I see Mercy. Mercy says she's interested. I hope someone is picking up her details, and many more persons. I'm hoping to see more persons indicate interest David, and the rest of them. So this session was recorded, and yes, we will be sending you the recorded session via email later today, and it will be coming alongside the data set. All right, so not to worry, before the end of today you will get all of that in your email. Thank you so much everyone for joining in. I only saw one person indicate interest. Hmm. Okay, this is me trying to stall a bit. I am stalling. What's the difference? I see a question. What's the difference between the one we registered for and this one? Okay, so Loge, I believe you registered for the grad skill program, right? And the grad skill program is a beginner program for NYSC and fresh graduates. That's people who just graduated between 0 to 3 years. So it's just a beginner course. These courses here are in-depth courses for working professionals. Do you understand? I'll take, for instance, the data analysis for professionals course right here. For many of our past learners, they get the privilege of not just learning the general analytics tool, they even bring their own data set that they are comfortable with, of course, and then the instructor takes them by the hand, and it covers much more than what you had right in the grad skill. The grad skill was literally basic, beginner friendly. Okay, I hope that was able to clarify that for you, Ologe. All right. Yes. So we'll also send you details, the phone number and the websites along with the recorded session, so you can check it out and register. Thank you guys for your time. I hope it was an insightful session for you. Please, one last time as we close the curtains, a round of applause for our facilitator. We appreciate you, Mr. Jamil. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for showing up today and for staying put. Thank you, Justice. Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Loge. Thank you. I think at this point we can call it a day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Sadiq, for joining in. Thank you, Bello. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Isaac Chukuma. Thank you, Isaac Onerine. Thank you, Adobe. We hope to see you in the next session. Cheers, everyone.